Hey, everybody, welcome back to another Daily Drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic today is North Carolina Tar Heels basketball. We're going to sort of look back in time a little bit and dabble in a question I posed on our message board a few days ago, our Four Corners Premium message board, and that was, what play or sequence would you love to have back and changed from Carolina's basketball history? And I left it open-ended. The overwhelming response was Chris Jenkin's shot, Villanova, in 2016 to beat Carolina in the national championship game. But there are others. And I'm going to sort of roll through a few here, and I would love to know what you guys think. Let us know. Let us know on Facebook. Let us know on Twitter. Let us know on our message boards. Let us know what moment you want back that you would reverse, and perhaps it could just change a little bit of Carolina's basketball history. Quick heads up, we're going to do the same thing tomorrow for football. Not as many options, but still very interesting. Certainly some critical times in Carolina football history, and we will have a show for you on July 4th as well. That's going to be a lot of fun coming up this week. And then every Friday, I think it's become a tradition where Jacob Turner does his solo daily drop. So I'm always looking forward to what Jacob's going to do. And I know what he's doing this week, so you're not going to want to miss that drop, because Jacob's been doing a fantastic job starting his solo drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com and Tar Heel Illustrated on our YouTube channel, at Heel Illustrated if you're following us on Twitter. And if you're not following us on Twitter and you're just checking us out here on YouTube, go follow us on Twitter. If you are on Twitter catching our stuff and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go sign up. We're almost at 17,000 subscribers. Let's hit 17,000 before Carolina starts football practice on July 29th. It's this month. We are in football month. Unbelievable. Okay. Carolina basketball history. What moments would Carolina fans love to have back? You just reverse what happened a little bit and everything's honky-dory, right? Okay, I'm going to roll through some of these and I would love to know what you guys think. And if there's something if there's a moment I don't mention, please let us know. This is an open-ended, subjective thing. Here's some moments, though, I will propose to you. First of all, let's go back to 1977, the national championship game, North Carolina and Marquette. Now, I think there are two here. One is a moment, one is a sequence. The moment is Bruce Buckley, when Carolina's in the Four Corners, and they worked a few minutes off the clock. He starts to drive a little bit, loses the ball, turnover. Marquette turns it into a bucket, and I think momentum started to shift at that point in the game. Carolina ultimately lost to Al McGuire and the Warriors. They were then called the Warriors, Bo Ellis and all those guys. The other part is the sequence aspect. I think if you're going to say Dean Smith ever made a mistake in his career, it was going into the Four Corners that night. 13 plus minutes left. Carolina had taken the lead. They were banged up. I understand his thinking. Phil Ford was banged up. Walter Davis was banged up. They didn't have Tom Lagarde. He was out for the season in late February when the Tar Heels were in position to win a national title, but the Four Corners took the mojo out of the game. Then you throw the Buckley turnover in there, and I just think Carolina got tight and they lost the game. So let us know if that's one or if that's on your list. The next one is Kenny Smith, 1984, the broken wrist against LSU in the regular season. And Kenny went down for a long time. When he came back, he had a pad on his wrist. It wasn't 100%. The Tar Heels lost in the Sweet 16 to Dan Dockich and Indiana. That's also Steve Alford, Bobby Knight. That was Michael Jordan and Sam Perkins' last game at Carolina. Dean sat Jordan in the first half with 2 fouls, as he customarily would, and then Carolina fell short. MJ wasn't great that day. Dockich gets credit for his defense, and I think he deserves a lot of it. But Carolina just didn't get it done. And I think if Kenny Smith is healthy, not only do the Tar Heels win that game, but they would have played Virginia in the regional final. Virginia beat Indiana. Virginia had a losing record in the ACC that year. and Virginia got to the Final Four and then lost to Houston by 2 points in the Final Four. Carolina would have matched up with Houston again. Now, Lodge, one of those guys. That's who Carolina beat in the Final Four in 1982. Tar Heels, I would have given them a hell of a chance of beating them. Then another rematch with Georgetown in the title game. Georgetown actually won that year. Maybe MJ, Perkins, a healthy Kenny Smith, and all those NBA guys coming off the bench. Doherty and Wolf and Popson was on that team. Maybe they would have gotten it done and won another national championship. Let's go to 1994, a decade later. Derek Phelps gets clobbered by BC's Danya Abrams. BC was in the Big East at the time. Danya Abrams hammered Derek Phelps. He gets injured. Freshman Jeff McGinnis has to carry the rest of the way at point guard for Carolina. And the Tar Heels lost. It was a missed, I guess, a corner three, a baseline three, I believe, by Rasheed Wallace, last shot of the game. And not having Derek Phelps out there was huge because he was such a stabilizing force. Starting point guard of the 1993 national championship team. So obviously, not having a senior and having to go with the freshman, as talented as McGinnis was not the best case scenario for the Tar Heels. How about Kendall Marshall? We're going to go 18 years later, 2012, Carolina versus Creighton in Greensboro. Now, John Henson had a banged up ankle. People kind of forget about that during that run, but it was the play against Marquette when Kendall Marshall was clobbered again, similar to the way Kenny Smith was clobbered against LSU, similar to Derek Phelps, although Derek didn't break anything, didn't sprain anything, and Kendall Marshall was unable to go. And Carolina had to turn. They beat Tar Heels beat Creighton, had kind of a little bit of a gift in a sense of Ohio, University of Ohio University, Bobcats in the Sweet 16, beat them, and then got to play Kansas in the regional final, but did so with Stillman White at point guard. Now, Stillman went 11 assists, no turnovers in the Sweet 16 and regional final, but he wasn't Kendall Marshall. And I think the Tar Heels were on a collision course with Kentucky in 2012. They lost at UK that December when Anthony Davis blocked a shot. I think it was a John Henson shot from the right baseline. I was at Rupp Arena covering that game, and that's how Kentucky held off the Tar Heels at Rupp Arena. They were on a collision course to play again. I'm not going to say Tar Heels would have won it, but I would have given them a heck of a chance at winning it had Kendall Marshall not gotten hurt. Let's fast forward 7 years, 2019. Now, this is one that didn't really come up on our board. I brought it up and nobody really commented on it. And I guess it stands out to me because I heard the effects of the flu bug that hit the 2019 Tar Heels. I say I heard it because after they lost to Auburn in the Sweet 16 in Kansas City, I was in the locker room. Media's allowed in the locker room for 30 minutes. The locker room opens 15 minutes after the game ends. And I could hear a particular Tar Heel throwing up. Nasir Little drank 3 of those armor drinks in the 30 minutes. I've seen guys drink a lot when they're thirsty and trying to rehydrate and stuff after a game. A lot of times they do shakes. He's pounding those things because he was dehydrated. The whole team was sick. And they got pounded by Auburn. That was Luke May's last game, Kenny Williams' last game, Cam Johnson's last game. So if they're healthy, maybe they beat Auburn, maybe they don't. But if they do, then they play a beatable Kentucky team in the regional final, and then they would meet the Wahoos in the Final Four. But that did not happen. Obviously, the Chris Jenkins shot, we're going to go back 3 years before that. The Chris Jenkins shot in 2016, nobody needs me to go on about that. I did tell a story about after that shot on our message boards on Four Corners. I don't want to go on to it here in this video, in this forum, but you can check that out on our Four Corners message board. And then Caleb Love's missed shot against Kansas didn't get as much mention as I thought it would. Kind of surprising. Because if he hits that shot against Kansas, maybe that club wins a title. Pretty wild stuff to think about. And Caleb would be immortalized. Imagine the shot against Duke is one thing, But if he then hits one against Kansas 2 nights later, I don't think he would have left. If he would have left, it would have been to the league or wherever. I don't think he'd be at Arizona right now. It's very, very interesting how things work out. They went from that missed shot, almost winning one, to not even making the tournament the next year. Pretty wild stuff. And it'll be interesting to see how Hubert's tenure goes, to see how pivotal that sequence of years was in terms of how we gauge him moving forward. So there you go. Bruce Buckley, Dean Smith, kind of two from 1977. Kenny Smith's wrist in 84, Derek Phelps in 94, Kendall Marshall in 2012. You got the Chris Jenkins shot in 16, the flu bug in 2019, Caleb Love's missed shot just a couple of years ago. If I missed one, hey man, I'm not going to do an 8-hour podcast, but please let me know, because there are a lot more out there. I just kind of wanted to narrow it to this group because it's part of what was our discussion on the message boards. If it's one of these, let us know what you think, guys, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our website at TarHeelIllustrated.com. Let us know what one stands out the most to you. Do you wish could be reversed? And as a result, Carolina's history might be even a little bit greater than it already is, and it is already magnificent. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get updates every time we upload. Share this video with your friends. Tell your Carolina Tar Heel friends that we are here. We aren't going away. We are pumping stuff out all week long, even on July 4th, because that's what we do. I'm AJ, and I appreciate you stopping by.